Sorry, I'm choking down a little of this Pinot Gris.
All right, hold on. Let me get a little more into myself.
Who would have guessed that Beringer is a 12-time Top 100 Winery of the Year award winner?
Really? 12-time?
Yeah, probably for cheapest fucking
Hold on. Whoa.
winery.
Let's not throw those words out. Winery of the Year?
Top 100.
Who are they competing against?
No, top 100. Not like they won.
How many wineries would you say there are? 200?
In the world? Or like in Northern California?
I'm asking you. I don't have the information in front of me.
I don't know, man. Thousands?
Thousands in the country.
No, in the world.
I don't know. Are we talking about the world or the country?
That's up to you, man. I mean, we got Europe.
It's up to that bottle.
We got Australia.
Top 100 in the world? That's what we're saying?
No, it just says wine and spirits.
Top 100 in Target.
Dude, no one really gives a fuck. But I can tell you it was established in 1876. So essentially, Beringer is the wine of our nation.
Well, 1776 would be the year that we started.
Yeah, but in 1776, we weren't worried about making wine yet. It probably took a couple years.
I think Jesus drank wine. I hate to call you out on the cast, but I'm gonna have to call you out on the cast.
Well, I don't believe in Jesus, so go ahead and call me out on the cast.
I hate you. I hate you. I don't even know you, and I hate your guts.
All right, we should probably hop on this dick right quick.
We should, because it is hanging out there.
It is retracted.
All right, let's go ahead and chug about it real quick, and then fire up this goddamn cast.
It's not easy to chug through a straw.
Whoa, I don't know what that means.
It's not really a chug. It's more
my
like
preferred way of chugging.
A heavy sip.
It's more like a heavy suck, if you will.
All right, dude. You know what's interesting, and this would be a perfect way to start the cast because we're making a lot of gay jokes over here, and I saw a movie last night that made a bunch of gay jokes that I had not seen before. And I want to talk about this. We're going to end up talking about the movie that I saw, but I'm honestly more interested. I'm interested in the social change that we're experiencing, because I saw a movie called Trainwreck last night, and the gay jokes in it were jokes that I had not seen before. They were mainstream gay jokes.
You're right. They weren't weirdly crude gay jokes that you cringed at. They were just out there for the mainstream to enjoy.
Yeah, they were just jokes about being gay and how, and I mean, in her case, the protagonist's case, that wouldn't be ideal because she's a girl and she's with a guy. But they weren't they were negative for her, but they weren't I don't know. I think historically it's always been, well, then why don't you take this dick? And then that's the punchline. But that wasn't the punchline here.
Exactly.
It was fodder for her inevitable bummed on her boyfriend punchline.
Yeah, it wasn't being down on him as a person. It was just being down on him as her potential mate.
Well, I think the jokes that we're referring to happen after the line that really explains them. And the line that really explains them is before that. There's a scene early in the movie where Amy Schumer, the protagonist of the movie that we haven't even addressed that we're talking about yet.
Trainwreck Dog.
Trainwreck Dog.
I think that's the official title, actually.
Amy Schumer is at a work meeting where they're all throwing ideas around, and they're throwing ideas for new cover stories or new stories in their article, and they're all ridiculous. It's kind of funny. And one of the ideas they throw around is what if we called a story, "He's not gay, you're just not that interesting." And that is what the joke is later in the movie. That she is just not interesting, or he's not interested in her, and that's what she's insecure about. Not about the fact that he's maybe gay. That is no longer the punchline.
Right, exactly.
Which is progression in our society.
It is. It's progression in joke telling and our acceptance in society, which is cool,
man.
It's cool to see that happen in 2015, because I would definitely see that happening next summer. but it like already happened, you know?
Well, we've been heading that way. I mean, I think Hollywood's always been that way. Now we clearly have a reason for it to be that way with the legalization of gay marriage. But
Right.
This movie was obviously made before that happened.
Right, yeah, that's why I'm hyped that it had probably already been made, and it was the same way.
Let me turn it on you. This was written by Amy Schumer, which is not a common thing. Every time we get a movie that is quote-unquote good from a woman that wrote it, we all know about it. And nobody knows when guys write movies because it don't matter. Because all guys write movies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Diablo Cody, she wrote one. Whatever the fuck her name was that made The Hurt Locker. Like, it's honestly, we can count on one hand of the women that have ever mattered in Hollywood.
Oh, absolutely.
So Amy Schumer wrote this. Now now I'm talking about a change, and that's important, man.
Yeah, and it's still a bummer though that for these women characters to like come out in movies, they have to write their own fucking scripts. But hey, at least those scripts are getting made, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And, I mean,
Hopefully-
Apatow's mainstream as fuck. Like, she was able to convince Apatow, or Apatow even got her to do it. I don't know what the story is there. Regardless,
Apatow's wanted to work with her for a while.
I'm sure anyone would want to work with her. He's very successful and very funny.
What? He's always written his own scripts, and his first one.
Well, I'm sure he's been credited with writing his own scripts. I think writing is something I would never say Apatow ever did. But
he just casually hangs out with the cast.
and I love Apatow. I'm not hating on him. He kicks it with the homies, and they just kind of cut some stuff together.
True that. I think that actually even more applies to the Will Ferrell sect of comedy. But yeah, I know what you're saying. The whole dude comedy of the past decade it has that feel to it.
Which is, I mean, you could connect the two, man. Adam McKay and his work with Will Ferrell is essentially the same work that Judd Apatow was doing with Seth Rogen.
It definitely
Jonah
is.
Hill.
And
they fucked each other too. Anchorman, Judd Apatow was in and produced.
yeah, they all came around. It's just they're slightly different groups, but yeah, they all fuck each other. The comedy world fucks each other. So
Yeah, but the world of this generation is those two.
it is, yeah.
It is them and Todd Fields.
Yeah.
Is it Todd Fields?
No, Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips.
Yeah.
Fields is the indie director.
Yeah, I was like, wait, why does he matter?
No, Todd Phillips.
Yeah, and Todd Phillips, he did matter until he put out 2 bullshit hangover movies, and I don't know if he's gonna come back from that, but he did matter very intensely for a second there.
He did, man. Old school's good.
Yep.
Hangover's good. I don't think that any of them are as good as Apatow.
No.
I think Apatow's the peak of all three. Because Adam McKay, Anchorman, I don't think holds up. I think it's a bunch of great lines. I think it's a bunch of great characters. I don't think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I don't know that it's well constructed.
I think Step Brothers is a great idea with some great actors.
Yeah.
And I think it's very funny.
And some great lines too.
Yeah, no, I'm not hating. I just mean that, like, if the pinnacle to me is fucking Knocked Up, it just doesn't compare, man. Knocked Up is a great romantic comedy. It's a great comedy.
Right,
Great
like
story.
I don't know that. Yeah, Adam McKay is funny, and the homies he hangs out with are funny, but I think he's not quite as good as director as Judd Apatow.
Director seems like a stretch. I don't know that I think Apatow's a great director. I just think he's a great judge of talent.
He's judge of
Which
talent.
is part of directing.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing.
I mean, Apatow definitely just like has a style, whether it's good or not. It is there.
I think he just has funnier friends. Is that crazy?
It could
to
be.
say?
He's just accumulated a better cast of funny people.
He just has funnier people, and
Yeah.
and it almost like Will Ferrell's funnier than any of the people that Judd Apatow hang out with.
For sure.
But Judd Apatow just has a bunch of friends that are funny.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen's fucking funny, man. Jonah Hill is very funny.
Jonah Hill secretly might be the funniest of them all.
What's the guy from fucking Forgetting Sarah Marshall? He is very funny too. He might be second funniest.
Jason Segel?
Jason Segel. I mean, Seth Rogen's the one that made Big, but Jason Segel's funnier, dude, and so is Jonah Hill. They're funnier.
Yeah.
I think Seth Rogen is a better leading man.
It's true. It's so funny that we're just like talking about all these actors now, because that's how it is in these two worlds that we're talking about. It's just all these fucking actors that are just hanging out.
They just all fuck each other. They're all just
do.
in each other's movies is what happens.
Yeah, and then what? Look at it. Like Seth Rogen started fucking directing movies, and they fucked each other literally in his last movie. This is the end. I honestly cannot wait for the idea of this is the end too. Did you hear about this?
No.
Seth Rogen was like, yeah, we don't want to do it, but like the studio kind of wants us to do it, and like I guess if we do it, it'll just start out and we'll be at the premiere of This Is the End, and then the movie will start and we all are different from our characters in that movie. Like they take on different preconceptions of themselves.
Yeah.
Which sounds awesome. Like, yeah, I want to watch the first 20 minutes of that movie too.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with meta movies in general, so I like part of that movie.
Yeah,
I would definitely see the new one.
Oh, absolutely.
What is that dog?
Ooh.
Hey, this is like a Hustle and Flow moment.
It is. It's like, can I go outside and tell that dog to shut the fuck up?
Whoa.
Or give him a pound of weed?
Hold on, I got a little weed. Holler at your boy.
How much weed do we have to bribe the dog to please be quiet?
Shout out to Hustle and Flow. Hey, I do want to segue in. We've gotten off track here.
We have meandered a little
All
bit.
I'm saying is that Trainwreck is it's a different movie than I've seen before, and that's exciting. And I don't like the movie at all. But I will say that's cool, man. And I don't know if it's progression in our society politically or it's just a female writing. I don't care. Whatever it is, I'd like to see more of it. I'd like to see more new shit. I don't care if it's gay, straight, women, men. I don't care. I just want to see some shit that I could tell was different.
Yeah, I just want some new voices.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. And it's awesome that Schumer got this chance and that she made the most of it.
She did. She wrote a movie and picked up by Judd Apatow, which is still a big deal, man.
It is still a big deal.
Wait, if Shyamalan can still matter at fucking The Last Airbender, then Apatow can still matter at
Yeah,
Trainwreck.
like Apatow's just been, he's just been producing shit recently. Like Girls fucking matters, and he's one of the main reasons that show exists right now. So he definitely still matters in the world of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that he was into it. Yeah, so to get ready for the movie, I watched the Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Schumer.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Had you ever seen it before? Because I had.
No, I hadn't. I had skipped it because I didn't really know Schumer last year very well. Like I knew who she was and that she had a show, but I hadn't watched the show yet. And I was like, oh, I'll get back to this later. So I watched it, and I think Schumer was the one to originally call Jerry Seinfeld out on having a bunch of white males on his show, right?
I was literally just thinking the reason I watched that ep is because I was in Freedom Park in Maryland walking, and I was listening to the Joe Rogan with Amy Schumer where she rants about that. She rants about Jerry Seinfeld only putting white males in his first season. And
I really want to hear that clip now.
Well, you should hear the whole thing. It's all fascinating because they just work well together, and she's great, and he loves her, and it's good chemistry.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was just there was criticism on Jerry Seinfeld in his first season of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee that it was all white males, and his response, which is probably reasonable for him,
It's actually very reasonable.
all his friends are just those people, and he's not racist, or sexist, he just put his friends on.
Yeah.
But what she said in response was like, that doesn't matter. That still says something. That as the greatest comedian of possible all time, or like right now, or like the most mainstream of all, like the pinnacle of being a comedian right now, if that's all the people you respect and love, that's the problem.
Yeah, like this is getting down to like institutional racism things. Like, I mean, dude, maybe he got Chris Rock and him and Chris Rock are great friends. Maybe Chris Rock wasn't available for the first season of filming. Like, there's like a lot of factors that go into it, I'm sure. But what Jerry's response again to that later rebuttal was, he was like, it's kind of like if you came over and I was having a dinner party and there was like 10 white dudes sitting around the table and you'd be like, whoa, what is this, a Klan meeting? Like,
which is probably something I would say in response to what had happened.
Exactly. Like, it's just like, yeah, if you break everything down like that, sure, there are problems everywhere. But
what? I think what we're landing on is that he's not wrong for doing what he did, but it still shows a problem in our society.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I
don't really have black friends. I mean, I do have some black friends, but really my associates are not black.
Right.
And why is that?
it's a matter of society and where you live and where you work, and there's a whole bunch of shit that goes into it. And this actually ties very well into Trainwreck because there's a scene
about this.
Yeah, there's a scene in Trainwreck where she doesn't have any black friends, and she like tries to like con her way into like proving that she maybe has some black friends.
Bye.
She like what? So Bill Hader's like, all right, show me one picture of a black friend, and she shows a picture of like her and her friend and like a black waiter in the background.
No, not in the background. I said blackground.
That's perfect.
No, it's her and her friend in a selfie essentially.
Yeah.
There's a black waiter with his hand still in the picture, either pulling it out or putting it back in.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's exactly what it was.
I like thought it was that, but then I was a little drunk and I assumed it was just maybe someone in the background.
No, it was just his hand.
Oh, that's so perfect.
It is. It's a good joke.
That's even better.
And I read a review this morning while I was at P. Terry's. Shout out to P. Terry's plug
Austin.
I was at P. Terry's this morning. I was reading Wesley Morris's review on the.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up
movie,
too.
and he was pissed about that scene.
Yeah,
which makes sense because he's black.
Wesley Morris gets a little uptight about race relations, which is awesome. Like I support that, but
I guess
I think he read that a little bit wrong. Yeah,
joke,
sometimes I think he gets a little too mad about. Like he did the same thing with Ted 2, and Ted 2's black jokes were a little bit on the wrong side of things. I don't think that that's the way that these Trainwreck ones were going.
But is the answer right or wrong, or just let's joke about it?
Yeah, like I agree.
Can't we just joke about it?
Right. Like I think as long as you're not making shitty racist jokes that are just racist and not actually jokes, like yeah, I think I disagree with Wesley Morris's stance on the fact that Schumer's character in the movie is potentially a little bit racist.
I would love to see Wesley Morris review any episode of Chappelle's Show. Please. I dare you to review that with the same eyes that you review everything else.
I would love
because that show is fucking racist. But for me, and I feel like my generation, that show does more than anything else has ever done.
Yeah, and it's very, very easy to say that as a white 20-something-year-old.
It is, but it was a black person that made it.
Yeah, which is why it's not racist. It's overcoming racism, and I'm sure that is exactly what he would say. And hey, Wesley, if you're listening out here, when you go to the New York Times, once you leave Grantland, please write an article about this when Chappelle's Show comes back in a couple of years.
I would love to hear what Wesley Morris has to say about fucking Chappelle's Show, because
it would probably be enlightening, because he's one of the best writers I've ever read. Like,
there's no way that is geared towards me. There's just no way, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
Chappelle is not quote unquote white black person, if we have to use that. He's not.
You're right. I definitely agree with you. Yeah, I think that is why he had a problem with the movie Dope, is because that is specifically marketed towards the white black intersect, and it's not really about overcoming racism. But you and I wouldn't know, because we both missed the boat on Dope.
It's true. I thought you were going to say you and I wouldn't know because we're white.
No,
which is also a fair response to that.
That is kind of fair as well, yeah.
I don't know. I guess we got off track here. What do you think about Dope, man? Or not Dope, fucking Trainwreck.
Trainwreck? Well, so what happened? I got a little tipsy. And by a little tipsy, I mean I brought a flask into the movie theater.
Yeah.
To take a shot every time I felt some feels, because I am definitely a sucker for like anything remotely sappy.
Yeah.
So, I was feeling some things. It's a mess of a movie. You said you don't like it. I don't know that I like it. It's better than the only other comedy we had this year, which is Ted 2.
Don't let that be okay.
No,
don't let that
I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying that that's okay. I'm just saying that it is better than the one summer comedy that we had this year.
Well, to be fair, I laughed more in Ted 2, and we're going
really
to see
because I definitely laughed more in Trainwreck. Yeah, I was a little bummed on the audience because I felt like they were just delayed on the jokes, and it kind of ruined the experience for me. Not saying that the movie's great or anything. I liked the way that Amy Schumer wrote it. I liked the way she wrote herself. But yeah, the wild thing to me is that.
So hold on.
What's up?
You were bummed in the audience. Why?
I was just bummed on the audience because I felt like they were late to the party on every joke,
Yeah.
which maybe I saw with the wrong audience. I can't imagine it was like that everywhere around the country, but like I would start like laughing because it was like getting a little funny, and like I was the only one, and you know, that was a bummer for me. But
Yeah, that'll get you. I
because
know.
you know, like when you're in the theater, you want that experience of like laughing together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess it didn't help that I was in the front row alone, and I was just laughing by myself. But
yeah, my girlfriend at one point made a point, like she was like, we're laughing at all the times they're not laughing, and they're laughing at the times that we aren't.
yeah, did that so something similar happened to you then?
Well, we didn't have a full house. We had a very small house, maybe 2 rows, maybe
Okay.
no, probably 1 row total, 2 rows of like a half.
Really?
So very small.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't say that's something I didn't expect. But I just didn't think the movie was funny at all. So like I would like, I don't know, I would give like try chuckle. Like there's some funny situations. Like I noticed that like that was written by a funny person, or that person would have been funny if they weren't reading these lines.
Yeah. So you acknowledge that the writing may have been funny, but on the screen maybe not. Something
Maybe.
like that. Yeah.
With Apatow, I can't tell what writing is, man. So like, I would guess that she wrote all that stuff, and if that's the case, I'm bummed on it because he makes movies where I would guess that he doesn't write that stuff, where he writes situations and they just edit in ad libs. Dude, if that's the script she wrote, it's not funny, man.
Well, all right. I think. So
For me.
Yeah. I think Apatow directed it like he may have written a script that you were describing, but I don't think that's the script that Schumer wrote. And so like he records a lot of like character responses to jokes without like letting the person tell the joke,
Yeah,
which is
you're absolutely right about that.
yeah. So like it's this weird thing because it's not his homies that are in there to do those responses, and I don't know that it works. And that is only the slightest of problems with the movie. But yeah, on a basic comedy scale, I think that is one of the problems with Judd Apatow's direction if he's not with his homies.
I don't know. I think Wesley Moore's just something about that. I don't know.
Yeah, he might have touched on. I think he brought it up about like the board meetings. There's just a lot of not comedic actors in there, like trying to do funny things. I guess. I don't know.
It's just a poorly written scene, man. It's not.
It is.
It's not
There's
funny.
a lot of poorly written scenes, and there's a lot of drawn out shit, which is it's like it should be attributed to Schumer, I guess, but it feels very Judd Apatowian because there's a lot of drawn out shit in that movie that he is known for.
Yeah. Well, having not seen This Is 40 and not having seen Funny People in a long time, I can't. All my image of Apatow is the first 2 movies, which I would never say is drawn out, but those are the good ones. So I'm sure that I was pissed in Funny People because it was drawn out. It's
Yeah.
not funny, but drawn out is fine. Like drawn out is not a problem if it's funny.
You're right. I remember we saw Funny People together back in the day.
No, we did not.
For real?
Yeah, I saw it with Molly and like a beach, probably.
Oh. I saw it with something. All right, I do remember who I saw it with. I was thinking it was you. So I got particularly blazed for Funny People when I saw it because I was hyped. I was like, dude, I cannot wait to laugh at some stoner comedies.
Yeah.
That is not what Funny People turned out to be. And
it's heavy. It's
it
heavy
is
in a
real
lot of
heavy.
parts.
And I love Funny People. I don't love the movie, but I think it is his greatest idea. And
Oh, I agree with that.
yeah,
Go
like
on,
that
bro.
first third of that movie is fucking perfect.
It's definitely his greatest idea.
Yeah, and it's just such a bummer the way that he went about finishing the movie. Like, it's such bullshit.
Well, if that's what you think, then I'm excited. I thought you disagree with me, but I 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah, like every time I say I love Funny People, think that idea is the best idea he's ever had.
It should have been the best movie he ever made.
It should have been. And Adam Sandler is so fucking good in it. And like, I just wish that he had done Adam Sandler a service and built off the Punch Drunk Love. Like, Can you imagine where Adam Sandler would be right now if Funny People was legitimately a 5-star film like Knocked Up?
He'd probably be the same place they're in now. Like he can do whatever he wants to do.
You're right.
He
but
just wants to do this shit.
I agree that he
For
wants
kids
to.
who love it.
Right. But like, can you imagine if Funny People was legitimately as good as Knocked Up? He would have had a bunch of avenues open to him that weren't, because the movie fucking sucked. He is great in it though. Not trying to disparage Adam Sandler any more than he gets disparaged all the time on the internet.
I just think that Apatow made a great comedy because it was a great story in Knocked Up. And then he thought he could do more, and I just don't know that he's capable of more, man. I think he's a funny dude who has funny friends, and he knows how to see funny things.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's capable of that much more.
Well, I think his comedy is... We just keep coming back to this on a lot of topics, but his comedy is homies hanging out.
Yeah,
and
true.
that is what Freaks and Geek is about, and that is what Undeclared is about, and that is what Knocked Up is essentially the best parts are about.
It is, you're right. All the early stuff is the best. All the late stuff is different best.
Yeah.
But you're right. That what is funny about him is the homies hanging out.
Exactly. He has funny homies, and they're really good at hanging out. And he gets away from that. Like, This Is 40, he tries to do the whole adult thing, and that movie doesn't work even a little bit. I would suspect that you would grade that and Trainwreck the same, but I don't know. I like Schumer in Trainwreck, and I don't know. I'm just like slowly getting hyped on Schumer, and I know I'm a little behind the curve on this. So I watched some Inside Amy Schumer yesterday, actually. Dude, it's kind of good for a sketch show.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I think she's probably a funny person, man. I
like her style of comedy, and I like her presence on the screen, and I don't know. I just like her in general, I guess.
Yeah, she's definitely likable, and she's confident, and I don't know. I don't disagree with that. She's cool. I just don't think this movie's good, man. I just don't think it's funny. I don't think it's not that I don't think it's good. I just don't think it's funny. Because I saw Bridesmaids a couple years ago, and that's a fucking romantic comedy, and I don't want to fucking watch those ever. Yeah. And I really, really liked that movie because it was funny and it was an interesting story, and this movie just isn't that.
Yeah, this movie should have been, because that fucking character that Amy Schumer is playing is like the most relatable thing that I would want to watch in a romantic comedy, and somehow it's just like her character's just a mess. She isn't just a train wreck. She's like a bunch of things, and it doesn't work. And what you're saying about Bridesmaids, yeah, you're right. I think Paul Feig, I don't know how to fuck to say his last name. He might be the next comedy director, and we just don't know it because we didn't watch The Heat, and we didn't watch, I don't know. He did another fucking movie, but they're making tons of fucking money, dude. He's already made 3. Ooh, sip on that straw, dude.
Hold on. Table that thought. He might be the next director. I'm gonna go get some more wine. All right. So I guess my point is, if Bridesmaids that's not a comedy. I mean, it's funny, but it's a romantic comedy that I liked. And Knocked Up is a comedy that is romantic, and I liked it. This movie's a romantic comedy, and I don't like it because it's not fucking funny. And Bridesmaids is funny, but it's not that funny. It's really just compelling. And this fucking movie was not compelling to me.
You're right. It's not compelling because it's such a fucking mess. It has no focus to it. It's just all over the place, and there's way too many celebrity cameos to matter. Like,
yeah, all of LeBron sucks, dude. I'm sorry.
You didn't like the LeBron.
I like him in it.
Yeah. But it's
ridiculous.
It's there for no reason, and it's like, I don't know. It's just like a bizarre thing to have in there. Yeah.
All of the scenes with him are like, the joke is that he loves Bill Hader.
Right.
And that, like, that's not a funny joke.
No, because I don't know. There's no reason for it. And then he's like the one to to help between the two, and it's just, I don't know. It's stupid. Like, there's a way to make that good. Maybe in a 4-hour movie, which Judd Apatow is fully capable of actually producing.
And I would kill myself in that one too.
No fucking doubt.
Ugh. A 4-hour comedy. Get ready for your Kurosawa fucking Judd Apatow epic. It's a coming.
Oh my god. Actually, to be honest, I hope he does it, and I hope he fucking blows everyone away.
I don't know, man. I just think that he has become something that he's not. And that he was good. Because even when you think back to 40-year-old version, the funny shit is the beginning shit. It's the like, you know, when you like grab her tits and then they're like sandbags, man. Like that's the good stuff in that movie.
Yeah, and then he always tries to draw life out of that broness.
He's good at that.
He is. Well, he was good at that.
Until he tried to draw broness out of the life.
Yes. I like that you said that without even having to have seen This Is 40. It's perfect.
It's a shame, man, because his first two movies are some of the best comedies that have happened in my lifetime. And I think they're better than Hangover. I think they're better than Anchorman. I think they're better than Old School, Step Brothers.
I think they are better films than any of the comedies that have come out in my lifetime, for sure. And I think the only one that is on par would be Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is slightly outside of the troop.
Also his fault, so...
Yeah, I know. Like, I love that movie, and
you're right.
That I wish that was like McKay, so that I could love McKay. You know, like
yeah. And just for the listeners that don't know, Forgetting Sarah Marshall is not directed by Judd Apatow.
No, it's directed.
It is produced by him.
Yeah, it's directed by Nicholas. Nicholas Stoller directed it.
No.
Yeah, and he doesn't really have any other credits other than like Get Him to the Greek.
However, it is a product of the age of Judd Apatow that started with Knocked Up. After Knocked Up happened, like 6 movies came out, all produced by Judd Apatow, and even what a fucking Superbad is a result of Judd Apatow. He produced it, and all his people are in it. Jonah Hill is him.
Yep. Fuck yes.
Seth Rogen is him. All this is him. So after Knocked Up happened, he blew up as a person and produced a bunch of great movies with all his friends. So Superbad was one. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Walk Hard.
He had an empire, which is something that we kind of glazed over these days because it's not really necessarily his anymore. But yeah, it was his empire that he was doing, and it was phenomenal.
Also,
like,
go ahead.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just like obsessed with the fact that like for a couple years there, like
he was great, man.
He was the one in comedy that mattered.
He was
like
the one.
Anchorman had come out and.
Which he's in and produces.
I know. And
he has the best line in the whole movie.
He does. But it's like we like to separate camps. So we give Anchorman and Talladega Nights to McKay, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone loves to quote those fucking movies. I will never understand the amount of love for like Talladega Nights. But anyway,
it's a funny idea with a funny actor. And there's a bunch of funny lines. That's the love. And that makes sense.
Yeah, you're right. But I guess my point is that like, dude, Judd Apatow built an empire.
Did.
And I feel like we're not giving him enough credit for that these days because his last 3 movies have underwhelmed so aggressively hard.
Go fuck yourself. I went to go see Trainwreck because I still love Apatow. So I give him the credit he deserves, man.
I still give him, but I'm saying we as a society don't give it to him. But I mean, I said earlier, he produces girls. Like, he is one of the main reasons that Girls Matters, and that's dope. And what up? Too much alcohol. He also definitely. Oh yeah, he produced Bridesmaids. Like,
did he?
Oof. So I forgot what I was gonna say, and then I like assumed that it was probably just Bridesmaids. Let's go ahead and assume that he produced Bridesmaids.
Well, I did want to talk about Superbad, which I think is a good movie. At the time, I thought it was really funny. I don't know that it holds up overall, but, dude, the beginning of that movie, the first half of that movie is homies hanging out, and that is the best homies hanging out of all the homies hanging out we're talking about.
It is. I honestly think Superbad might hold up better than not Knocked Up, maybe, but definitely better than 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Having watched Superbad less recently than I've seen 40 Version, I disagree, but
I've seen Superbad recently.
We watched it together recently.
Yeah, and I love that movie, and honestly, I love, I don't know how you say his name, Greg Matola or whatever.
Yeah.
I love Adventureland as well. Like, I guess like Judd Apatow is just the streaming together of all these brilliant people, And none of them have gone on to like make more than one or two great films, but like
Jonah Hill's a superstar now.
Jonah Hill is an Oscar-nominated superstar.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
down.
weird that Seth Rogen is not more popular, but Jonah Hill's the superstar.
Yeah,
The supporting actor.
I know. I am obsessed with Jonah Hill as a supporting character for anything.
He's great.
He is mind-blowing in The Wolf of Wall Street, and not taking anything away from Moneyball, but he is mind-blowingly good in The Wolf of Wall Street.
He is. He's really good.
And he's also great at playing the douchey Oscar-nominated character, and This Is the End. Like,
and you know I'm obsessed with 22 Jump Street. I don't think he's so great in it as much as I just think that the script is spectacular in it.
You're right.
But here's a good thing. Here's a parallel I could draw real quick. Like, we spent the first half of this cast talking about how exciting it was to see a different voice in Hollywood. And this is exactly how I felt seeing Superbad, because I didn't feel like anyone had made a movie of my generation better than Superbad was.
You're so right, yeah.
Because the whole fucking movie, dude, is written by somebody that lived my life. They talk the way that people talk back then.
Yep, and I was actually just thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking back to Superbad and feeling that way, that Superbad, it just meant all of these things to our generation. The problem is like, I was thinking more recent day, Project X doesn't fucking hold up. Like, it's just a bunch of cheap comedy that's going on right now to like try to encapsulate the drunkenness that happens in the youth. And it's a bummer because Superbad was very, very good. And there's a lot of hacks out there trying to just do the drunken thing now.
Yeah,
Schumer's doing the drunken thing as a good comedian, which is dope to see.
No, I think she's doing the woman thing. I think it's a different voice, man.
No, she's doing the woman drunken likes to fuck thing. That is her shtick, and it's sick. I like it.
Yeah, but if that is okay, so Superbad was the male drunken likes to fuck thing, and if a woman makes that movie, it's not the same. It is a different, separate voice.
You're right. Oh, absolutely.
Because the women voice is not that usually.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I may have watched a little bit too much of her show yesterday. But yeah, I'm definitely getting on board with what she has to say. And I think she sold herself out a little bit to make a mainstream movie, which is understandable. But it doesn't help the movie any, I guess. I don't know. There's some promise there, and I hope that she can do something again.
It's probably just a wrong mesh. I think they're both funny individually. I think Judd Apatow could definitely still do work that's funny. I think she absolutely can still do work that's funny. I think they both thought that if they met each other, it'd be perfect, and it's not.
It's just like, why? Why is Schumer making a movie with Judd Apatow and Judd Apatow not bringing the homies in for it?
Yeah, right? How much better would that be if the homies were there? Also, is that not why Judd Apatow stopped being good? You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's a cast. You're welcome.
You are welcome. So Judd Apatow stopped being good because he actually couldn't bring the homies in.
He lost all the homies.
Yeah.
That's probably right, man.
Because actually, no, this actually makes sense because Seth Rogen doesn't want a fucking small supporting role to Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill doesn't want that. Like, no. Yeah.
You're right.
I guess it would be very hard to bring in the homies to do it. I guess, the one he could bring in was probably Jay Baruchel. Like, he would probably come along.
Jay Baruchel is the least funny of all those people. I know you love him, but he's not that funny.
I was about to say, I do love Jay Baruchel.
You like him as a person, man. I know you don't think he's the funniest.
No, I don't think he's, like, hilarious. I think he is, like, very relatable to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I guess what I said is that he should bring the homies back in, but he probably can't.
No, that could be it, man.
Yeah, which, I mean, that makes sense because he did try to bring homies into this movie. Like, he brings famous athletes and, like, Bill Hader and, whoa, hold on. Let's get away
from the homie. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
I was going to say, let's get away from the homies real quick and let's applaud Bill Hader. His performance was amazing, even if it was, like, weirdly written and whatever. I think Bill Hader's a great actor no matter what. And I don't know. I love watching him. I just want to give a quick applause to Bill Hader because he didn't have the best written role, but he still did it with aplomb.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I think he doesn't rely on shtick as much as the rest of the SNL cast that came out in his generation. I think he's an actually good actor, and I don't know. You probably didn't see Skeleton Twins last year.
No,
but he's in that. Dude, yeah, I don't know. Watch Skeleton Twins. It's an indie, and it's not really a comedy. It's like about suicide, I guess. Dude, he's good in it. Like, he's just a good actor, and it's awesome to just see him in anything.
Yeah, well, what I know about him is that he's great at characters, and he's a funny dude.
And he commits.
Exciting. He works like Seth Rogen worked, man, in Knocked Up.
Definitely.
He works dramatically.
Exactly,
He might not work perfectly here, but if you give him another movie, he's going to work a little better. And in a couple movies, he'll be a leading man. Like, he could absolutely handle that.
Yeah, no, he definitely can. It's just like, yeah, because he commits to the character, and it's the thing is that the character might not be written the right way, but he is committing to a character no matter what. He just might not have the lines to make it happen.
Yeah, he's just a draft pick you need to develop. It's not, I don't know.
Oh, I like that sports analogy.
Well, I mean, it brings me back to, really, this is a Grantland article, a Grantland.com article that could be written. Is Judd Apatow the last person in comedy writing movies for people that aren't himself?
Yes.
Because if Superbad is, and he didn't make that, but his fingerprints all over it, man. That was him. Superbad was the voice of people that weren't in his generation. Because I was in high school at the time, and I knew that was it. And this is a movie, I think about women. I walked out with my girlfriend, and she was telling me that these were jokes that she made with her friend. She said that she literally had the conversation about which Johnny Depp she would fuck.
Oh, absolutely. And I like only kind of grasped that a little bit, but watching Inside Amy Schumer and watching Trainwreck, Amy Schumer definitely understands women, and she is making great jokes. I just don't think it translated into a full screenplay, but hey, it's her first attempt, man.
So is Judd Apatow making movies about people that we hadn't seen before, which for the goddamn record is important.
That is important. Like, whether or not the film is good or not, if he is making movies about thoughts and individuals that we hadn't had before, that matters.
Well,
and that's awesome.
Unfortunately, though, what is more important is that he makes movies that are good.
Right.
That is more important. And if he does that and the same thing at the same time, then it's great.
Yeah. Like, yeah, he made This Is 40, which is...
I don't know. Am I 40?
Well,
is it relevant to them?
To be fair, though, like, that might be the best comedy about dealing with growing up in that sense. Like it's not a good movie, but it's definitely better than other shit I've seen like that, I guess.
So when was he best? If that's the case, and he made a movie about being 40, and you and I aren't 40, and we don't know that's 40, so we don't know if that was a great representation of that voice.
Yeah.
Of the voices that he represents, what voice was best?
Well, I like Freaks and Geeks a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
You truly like Freaks and Geeks a lot?
I do. Because it's
Do you think it's funny?
It's an hour-long... No, I don't think it's funny. No, I just think it's an hour-long show about teenagers, and it's very real. I don't think it's necessarily that comedic. I think it is a very accurate depiction of teenagers, which you don't see very often. So yeah, I don't know. I'd have to say that's probably my favorite Judd Apatow.
I agree with everything you just said, and I don't like the show.
Yeah, I just don't think of it as a straight comedy, I guess.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the Emmys no longer think of that as a comedy anymore, because you have to be 30 minutes to count as a comedy these days. So write that down.
Yikes.
Ugh.
Also, that wasn't a fucking comedy, for the record. Freaks and Geeks is not a comedy. I know it's classified as a comedy. It's not. It's not.
It's like...
Also, the Emmys maybe got something right, because if it's an hour long, it's fucking not a comedy, dude.
You are 100% right, except for, I guess, Orange is the New Black is like an hour long, and I guess that's kind of funny, but fuck that show.
I'm not saying that you can't be an hour long and be a comedy. I'm just saying that if you are a comedy, you're probably not an hour long.
Yeah, I'm just like real tired of the differentiation between comedy and drama because good comedy is drama. Like Louis is not a straight comedy, and it is the best comedy slash drama on the air right now.
Yeah, but it's not that funny, man.
It's not funny. That's what I'm saying. Like it's so hard to call these shows comedy because like all the shows they're nominating are
So
very
call it a drama
serious.
in which is competitive.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It's
Okay,
it's a
so-
comedian because it's a comedian making very dark jokes and oftentimes not even jokes, just real life scenarios that are not
kind of comical.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I love Louis and I think it might be the best dramatic television on television.
Oh, I think. Well, I don't know about all that, but it's definitely competitive.
It's
the best would
yeah.
be True Detective. We have
Right, we have
Game of Thrones, and Louis is 100% competitive.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying Louis is top 5 and I just can't handle the way that the Emmys do it and the Golden Globes do it the same way. I don't know that there's a better way to do it. I guess the Academy does it the best because they don't give a fuck what you are.
Well,
They just lump you in.
let's bring it back. Like, so the best voice of his voices was Freaks and Geeks.
That is my
And you think, because that would be a similar voice to Superbad, right? You think that's a better version of Superbad.
All right. Well, I was just thinking of things that he actually created.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
But regardless,
he
it's still
has
his
so
voice.
he has so many producing credits that it would be very difficult for me to decide which one is his favorite because honestly, Knocked Up I guess that's a really good one. It's a really good film, but there are a lot of other ones that I like a little bit better, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm in love with Adventureland, and I'm semi in love with Superbad, and those are just Mottola films. Like, but his fingerprints are on so many different things.
Yeah, but are his fingerprints on Adventureland? 'Cause I know they're on. I'm confident that they're on Superbad. I'm not confident they're on Adventureland. I think that's more Mottola.
Yeah, which is awesome. Like I do like Mottola a lot. I love those films, and I honestly kind of like the directors that he associates himself with. Honestly, a little bit more than him because his direction style is so out there.
Out there. What do you mean?
It's just, dude, they're long, and there's a lot of pauses, which are good. You need some pauses, but dude, I don't know. Outside of 40-Year-Old Virgin Knocked Up, like you can't make an argument for his length anymore because
Well, I would never try. I'm only talking about those two movies.
right, like Funny People's ruined. It's straight up ruined because of its length. Like,
And its reach.
yeah, no,
It's
it's
not-
definitely reached
it's
the
way
third.
more than that.
The third act of Funny People makes no fucking
It's
sense.
ridiculous,
Like,
man.
you start a movie and then you just like randomly get intimate in the third act with like 3 characters. Like, I don't know.
He just thought he was better than he was.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there might be a way to do what he wanted to do. He just didn't do it well. Like, I guess I'm writing it off for no reason, the way that he did that third act, but maybe he just did it wrong and it could have worked. I don't know.
Well, let him make Funny People as 40-Year-Old Virgin as his first movie and tell me that would have been a great film. He just had bigger balls when he made Funny People, man. He just thought that he could make like a competitive dramatic film, and he can't.
You're right. And you are right about him having no fingerprints on Adventureland.
I don't think so. I think it could be anyone else that did 40 or Superbad. I'm not saying that it's necessarily
Well,
him, but it is his DNA, dude.
It's his DNA, or it's at least him bringing shit together, which is what a producer does. Like,
Yeah, but it's written by Seth Rogen and homeboy, what's his name?
Evan Goldberg.
Evan Goldberg,
Yeah.
who are homies with Apatow.
Right. So essentially, I think we're just making an argument that he is a phenomenal producer and, for 2 movies, a semi-great director.
Assuming he wrote the movies, I would say he's a good writer. I just think he's a funny
True.
dude with funny friends, man.
Yeah, and which is awesome. And
Like good thoughts.
Yeah,
to
he-
add to those funny jokes.
he has good thoughts and he has good intentions, and I don't know. I like Judd Apatow. I just wish that he would make another good movie. that could get behind. You know?
I don't see it happening, man. Unless he finds new friends, but he's getting old.
He is. I mean, yeah, that. I think we came to the crux of the problem, and I have not read anything about anyone saying any of this. Like, I think the problem might be is that he doesn't have the homies anymore, and he's not going to find the homies. He wanted to work with Amy Schumer because she's funny, but
they're not homies.
Yeah, like they aren't the homies. So, hey, we may have broken new ground on the cast tonight.
That's a Popcorn Hangovers first for y'all.
Yeah, we critically found out why Judd Apatow can't make a good movie anymore. So,
I don't know, man.
So how do we let the world know that we were first, you know?
We could tweet about it. At Popcorn Hank.
Yeah. We could popcorn hate about it, I guess.
Anyway, it's been a pleasure, guys. Follow us at Popcorn Hate on Twitter. You can visit us at popcornhangovers.com. Next week we'll be back to talk about Jesus.
And
Ant-Man?
Ooh, no, that already happened this week, dude. We missed the boat on that. Thank the fuck God.
See it late.
Oh, dear God, no. Instead of revisiting us about Ant-Man, just join us in solidarity and kill a bottle tonight. Cheers.
Cheers, motherfuckers.